Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the very brief history and geography of Agdash in Azerbaijan. Now, normally in my ASMR Around the World series, if the area's boundaries aren't drawn up on my map, I just pencil it in. However, there is an issue with Azerbaijan in that they used to have, I think it was like 8 main regions. And then in 2021, they decided to split up Azerbaijan into 66 districts. And there just really aren't any good maps of those districts in existence, not even on Google Maps or anything. It's a little aggravating, especially since, if you haven't been able to tell in my series, I'm going in alphabetical order. And I made that order in very early 2021, so I had to completely change it thanks to Azerbaijan. And there are a lot of districts starting with AG. So next week we're going to be going to let me look at my calendar. 3 different districts in Azerbaijan. Next week's going to be Azerbaijan week, so this is going to be just a little morsel of what to expect next week. So be sure to subscribe if you're interested in this kind of content, because I think it is very interesting, especially since Azerbaijan is one of those countries that most people have never heard of or know absolutely nothing about. So it's always really, really interesting to read about Azerbaijan. So here you can see the city of Agdash, where the district gets its name from the district, this-ish kind of size. It has a lot of beautiful rivers flowing through it. And you can kind of see on this map there's a little bit of the Caucasus Mountains that goes right through here. And it makes up part of the northern region of Agdash. One note I read said that they're called the Bozdog Mountains, which is a great name. It just sounds like a mountain in my opinion. But that's pretty much all I have for you for the geography, since I can't really find any other information about the district. It's mostly just about the city. It's one of those searches I've been doing on the internet where you type in the name and all that pops up is the main city and nothing about the surrounding area. So what I have dug around the internet about the surrounding area along with the city is a little sparse. I've got nothing before the 18th century, but you can assume that this area closely aligns with the rest of the history of Azerbaijan and the Caucasus, with various ancient empires ruling over the region, like the Persians, what have you, eventually, various Turkish groups coming through, so on and so forth, mixing in with the local culture and creating the Azeri culture. In the 18th century, this area was in the control of the Agdash Sultanate, and it was around the mid-18th century, when the Agdash Sultanate was subjugated by the Shaki Khanate, which was more predominant throughout Azerbaijan, at least this area of Azerbaijan. In the 19th century, the town really started to blossom. The city of Agdash was officially formed. Before then, it was apparently called Uchkovag, which is also a great name. It's a very good name for a tiny town, Uchkovag. But Agdash is the name of the city. And in 1840, the area kind of split from being khanates and sultanates and regions into forming the solid structure of what we know as Azerbaijan today in terms of political boundaries. Russia was getting involved and they needed things neatly organized because that's how Russia does things. So it formed the various administrative districts within Azerbaijan. And it was kind of like, so what is this area going to be known for? Because again, you've got that Russian influence, very compact and neat. Each region has to be known for some kind of industry or something. So various cotton manufacturing was imported into the region. They said you're going to grow cotton and you're going to manufacture cotton. And the industry here blossomed, and it still is today. So it was around the mid to late 1800s when this industry began, and it is still growing strong. They're still growing cotton, harvesting it, and, running it through all the various cotton mills to create the cotton that we wear for our clothes. Also, it became a center of education. It's not really so much today, but back then, one of the very first schools in Azerbaijan was built in Agdash. Before, it was mostly just madrasas, which, if you don't know what a madrasa is, it's kind of like a religious school where you learn like reading and writing, but it's all based around the Quran, and it's structured very different from like a public school like we know today. So when public schools started to appear, one of the very first was built in Agdash, and they built all sorts of different forms of education, like, young and old, boys and girls, a big center of education. But like I said, it's not like that anymore, because schools are all over the place nowadays. It's not as unusual to have a school in your town, right? I'd hope not, at least. The only other major news in this area was a huge earthquake that occurred in 1999. It pretty much destroyed the city, but it's all rebuilt now. So it was a very terrible time in Agdash, but they've, of course, it was so long ago, they have recovered. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And in 2021, like I said, they created the district of Agdash, which did not exist beforehand. It was all various regions of Azerbaijan. And now it's very, very divided, I suppose. It's kind of a lot. Where I live in America, we have 50 different regions. And that's a lot. In Azerbaijan, they now have 66, including parts of Nagorno-Karabakh down here. So, well, not Nagorno-Karabakh. I meant to say Nakhchivan. You can see down here. Down here, Nakhchivan. Right here on the border with Armenia. You can't see it. So, honestly, that's about it that I have for you now. Let me just look over my notes. Oh, I wrote about the cotton industry. They also have nowadays a silk industry with actual silk worms. One of the few places you can still find actual industrial silkworms. Mostly because you have to boil the worms to get the silk, and it's considered kind of inhumane, but it is worms. So, that's up to you. And there's also a big rice industry. I suppose the terrain and all the rivers and stuff make it marshy and mushy and wet enough to have a lot of rice paddy fields. So those are the main industries in Agdash today. And that looks like it, looking at my notes. So I'm sorry this was a short one. I really did struggle to find as much interesting information I could, but that was about it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm so sorry it was so short, but I've gotten a few comments from people saying that they like the short videos. I guess that's the effect of TikTok nowadays. People like the short form videos, so there's that. I hope that you found this video relaxing and educational, and I hope that you have a very good night. Good night. It's so hot. I'm starting to stick to the book. There we go. Good night.